Did you see the recent headline about Delta removing food and beverage service on some flights and immediately go into panic mode? Luckily, they are only doing it for flights that are mostly under an hour, but it does bring to light that you don't want to be dependent on an airline to feed you. Between delays, cancellations, and in-flight turbulence, you never know when you might get fed or what it's going to be. On most domestic flights, if you're flying in the main cabin or in economy, you're gonna have to pay a pretty penny for a mediocre sandwich or disappointing snack box. Today, I am sharing 5 travel hacks for flying with food you'll really want to eat. Let's go. Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christy, the Genx Gypsy, and on this channel, we like to share all the travel tips and tricks to help you travel more confidently with less stress and more energy. And one thing everyone needs for energy is food. And flying with food is such a hot topic because it can seem like there are a lot of rules and restrictions, but that's really not the case. Although I will admit, I have my own little set of rules about food that I'll pack for air travel, but we're gonna get into those in just a minute. Before we get into the actual travel hacks, I do want to go over the only 2 restrictions you really need to be concerned about. The first is about airport security liquids rules as it pertains to food. You may be, and at this point you should be, very familiar with the liquids rule for carry-on luggage. This is the rule that states that any liquids you are bringing onto the plane in either your carry-on suitcase or your personal item bag must be in a container that is 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters or less. And all of the liquids must be contained in one bag, about quart-sized or smaller. Where a lot of people get tripped up is in what TSA considers a liquid. And I feel like this post that they put on Instagram recently sums it up very nicely. As it says here, feel free to bring all of the rotisserie chickens you want, but the mashed potatoes to go with it better not be any more than 3.4 ounces. Basically, this means anything that doesn't hold its shape outside of the container it is packed in is considered a liquid. When it comes to food, there are obvious items like salad dressings that are going to be liquids, but it also means things like guacamole, hummus, and pretty much any type of nut butter. So you are going to want to keep this rule in mind when choosing your snacks. And by the way, if you are not following the TSA Instagram page, you should have, because they have some really hilarious posts over there. The second restriction pertains to what you can bring into other countries or even some other states if you are flying in the United States, like Hawaii. Many countries have strict regulations on what foods you can bring off the plane and into the country, especially when it comes to meats, dairy, and produce. My goal when I'm flying is to finish all of my snacks before I land in the country anyway, so then I don't have to worry about what I am bringing. But if you are planning on bringing snacks along with you for your whole trip, I would definitely do the research to see what is and isn't allowed in the countries or even states that you might be visiting. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's start with travel hack number 1, and that is to know what your level of tolerance is for dealing with food on a plane. And what I mean by this is, do you want to have to deal with pulling out a full multi-course meal, which I have done in the past, or do you just want to have little snacks that you can munch on throughout your travel day? Personally, I have created some rules, and yes, I know I said that there weren't many rules, but these are, let's say they're my guidelines for how I want to deal with food while flying. The first one is I don't want anything messy. If it's gonna something that's gonna spill out or it's gonna get all yucky in the container that I have brought, I'm trying to think of things. I mean, I used to travel with a pasta salad. I'd have it inside of a Ziploc bag, but it would leak all over the Ziploc bag, and it got to be too messy. So I don't like to bring anything that's going to be messy or even potentially spill on myself and stain my clothes. My second rule is not to bring anything smelly, not for myself, but for the other people that are sitting around me. Smells actually travel through a plane more than you would think that they would. So things like tuna fish, hard-boiled eggs, which I know are a big one for a lot of people, anything that's salmon that's like smelly salmon, fishy smells, like stuff that is, well, just smelly. Just like you don't love sitting next to somebody who has a lot of perfume or cologne on, you don't really want to be sitting next to somebody who has smelly food that they are eating either. My third rule is to bring food that I actually want to eat. This means not to bring aspirational food for the person that I think I want to be when I am traveling. So I'm not bringing full-on just carrot sticks and celery or cucumbers and apple slices, and that's all I'm going to eat, because I'm going to want more snacky food than that. I am not going to just be satisfied with eating carrots and cucumbers the whole flight. I'm going to end up wanting something salty, I'm going to want something sweet, and I'm going to want something that is more filling than that, because you're sitting on that plane and you're just sitting there. And for me, sitting is a little bit boring, and I do have a tendency to boredom eat, which is not a great thing, but when you're flying, who cares? So I always want to make sure the food that I'm packing is food that I really like and that I know that I'm going to want to eat while I'm on the plane or in the airport, wherever I might be eating the food. Rule number 3 is that it can't be bulky. Like, I don't want to fill up my entire personal item bag with food that I'm going to be eating on the plane. You see all these videos with these snackle boxes that look like little taco boxes with all the little snacks in them and stuff. And I just saw one in Walmart the other day. Now, I know this one that I'm showing you in Walmart is more for like road trips or beach, taking stuff out to the beach. But I've seen some videos, some reels and short videos on YouTube showing people bringing this box onto a plane to eat. And it's huge. I mean, if you're a family and you can distribute your personal items through multiple different backpacks, I guess you could have room for a snackle box, but as a single person who's traveling, I don't want to take up a lot of space in my personal item bag with a big snack box. So I want to make sure that what I'm bringing, it can condense down into a reasonable amount of space. So I'm not bringing a whole bunch of bulky items in my personal item bag. I need the space in my personal item for other things that I am bringing with me too, especially when I am packing carry-on only. And my 5th rule is that I don't want my food to have to be chilled. I don't want to be bringing stuff with me that needs to have like an ice pack on it or something. And there's very little that I can think of that I would want to bring that would have to be chilled. But some people are a little more particular about, like, if they're bringing their snack cheeses, they want their cheeses to stay cold. I think prepackaged snack cheeses are perfectly fine not being chilled for the amount of time that you're going to be, if you've got a 13-hour travel day, I don't think that the cheeses are going to get spoiled during that period of time. But that's my personal opinion and the risk that I am willing to take. But if you really have a concern about needing to keep something chilled during your travel day, like a chicken salad sandwich or maybe something else that's made with mayonnaise, you can use travel snack hack number 2, and that is the frozen sponge option. Now, the way that you use the frozen sponge, and this is a hack that I shared a couple of years ago in another snack video, you take a clean sponge and you get it soaking with water, and you kind of squeeze it out a little bit and then stick it in a Ziploc bag and stick it in the freezer to freeze overnight. And then you can just put that frozen sponge like on top of the package package that has whatever it is that you want to keep cool, you can put that in with your like sandwich or whatever else. The only thing is, if right before you go through security, you might want to check your Ziploc bag that the sponge is in to make sure there's no extra liquid that has escaped, and just drain that off and put it back in with your sandwich. And then you have a sponge that you can use when you get to your destination, maybe to clean out your water bottle that you're bringing with you, or whatever else that you might have that needs to be cleaned. And another alternative would be packing frozen grapes alongside your sandwich too. Plus, they're really yummy to eat. I love frozen grapes, especially in the summertime. Travel snack hack number 3 is to be creative with your food combinations. Between the altitude and the recirculated air, our taste buds just don't taste things the same way when we are flying. And I think most of us, as I mentioned before, tend to get very bored nervous systems when we are sitting in those tiny seats for hours, which brings on that boredom eating. I have found that if I pack food items that I don't necessarily get to eat on a day-to-day basis at home, especially those items that I might consider a treat, I am much more likely to eat and enjoy them on the plane. And here I've put together 4 different snack packing ideas. The first I call the kindergarten box because it reminds me of a lunch my mom would have made for me for school. And it starts with a leveled up peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I actually make with almond butter, jam, and I do it on fresh sourdough bread. And then I add in some homemade roasted chickpeas that I am taking in place of potato chips, a couple of these halo oranges, and a brownie protein bar. In this option, and really all of these options, I have tried to jam as much protein in as I can get because it's what we all need these days, and the protein will keep us feeling fuller longer. Now, I don't really have a fun name for the second box, so if anyone has any good ideas for a name, let us know down in the comments below. In here, I have a turkey roll-up that I made with a protein wrap, some spinach, deli turkey, and mustard. And then I've added a variety of snack cheeses, some grapes, 2 packages of roasted edamame, some dates, and a protein bar. This box is definitely for a longer travel day where you might need to cover multiple meal times with your snack box. And the third box is a breakfast box. And in this one, I've made some protein pancakes. I added in some turkey jerky to kind of emulate bacon or sausage, some blueberries, halo oranges, plus a container of protein-rich dry cereal. If you are wondering if you are going to have to eat your pancakes dry, you can if you want to, or you can ask the flight attendants for some honey. Almost every airline I have ever flown on has honey available for tea. And of course, you could also pack a little thing of syrup if you want, but just make sure that the syrup is in your liquids bag when you go through security, and then you can just move it over to your snack bag once you've made it through. And lastly is what I call a pre-packaged box, meaning everything in it is pre-packaged. So in here I have the turkey jerky, the edamame, some pretzels, a mix of snack cheeses, halo oranges, and another one of the dessert protein bars. This is probably the easiest kind of snack pack to make, but it does come with a lot of wrappers and trash when you are done eating everything. Now, if you are someone who wants to take your airplane meals to the next level, travel snack hack number 4 is to bring items that can be made with boiling water. Every airline I've ever been on has hot water available, and you can ask for a cup of hot water at any time. Now, I know this is the point of the video that people are going to say, all these airline attendants tell you that they haven't cleaned the water filters and yada, yada, yada. Y'all, I have never once in the amount of time that I have traveled ever gotten sick from drinking hot tea or hot coffee on an airplane. So again, this is a risk I am willing to take. And even Samantha Brown has posted that she drinks the coffee on the airplanes. So if Samantha Brown, as much as she travels, is willing to take a risk with drinking the hot water and hot coffee on a plane, I'm gonna do it too. Because more and more items are available in individual packets to fix inside those packets, it's easy to find a variety of things to bring to enjoy your own hot meal, from oatmeal to ramen. And if you really want to get fancy, you could even bring some stuff to add into these cups, like dried fruit for the oatmeal and maybe some roasted tofu to throw into the ramen to get some extra protein. The one drawback for me when it comes to using these individual cup type packages is the bulk that they add to your snack packing. But that is where travel snack hack number 5 is clutch. And this is a hack that I've been talking about for years, and that is to bring your snacks with you, packed in a bag that comes from a restaurant that is available in your airport. Starbucks and McDonald's are two places that are in almost every major US airport. I get a Starbucks bag from my local Starbucks, pack my snacks in that bag, and carry them separately from my personal item bag. Now, for a while there, it did seem like airlines, even the major ones, were cracking down on bringing those restaurant bags on board the plane. But it seems like they got a ton of pushback, and that has not been the case lately. However, you might still run into issues on super strict airlines like Frontier. I've been doing this hack for years, and I have never had a gate agent say anything to me. I think the important thing here is that the bag is from a restaurant in the airport, and that you really only have food and food related items in the bag. I'd love to know, what is your favorite air travel snack? And do you have a travel snack hack that you like to use? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you are looking for more travel snack hacks, check out one of these videos next. Thank you so much for choosing to watch this video today. I hope that you have safe and wonderful travels.